Welcome to this session for the Global Alliance Education and Training Month. The title of this session is Putting the 2021 Global PRN Communication Model into Practice, including the insights, findings, and perspectives across the globe. We are broadcasting this session from Corporate Excellence, Center for Reputation Leadership. My name is Angel Ayoza, and allow me to introduce Dr. Clara Fontan.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Angel. I'm Clara Fontan from Corporate Excellence. I'm in charge of the intelligence and knowledge area. I'm been participating in the development of the global PRN communication model with Angel. So I'm happy to be today here and contribute to this Global Alliance Education and Training Month with this special session.
Thank you, Clara. And allow me to say a couple of things about Corporate Excellence. We are a nonprofit think tank, an accelerator of innovation, research, applied knowledge, and training. We specialize in intangible assets, which means that we focus on purpose, brand, culture, corporate reputation and reputational risks, communications, responsible business or sustainability, and measurement of intangibles together with training and publishing activities. This nonprofit organization is existing, and by the way, it is our 10th anniversary, thanks to the generosity of 24 of the largest Spanish and Latin American corporations. So, the global PRN communication model has been developed in a joint alliance with Global Alliance and Corporate Excellence. And today we are going to present the insights, findings, and perspectives across the globe. After the presentation of our express live sessions all over the world, we have conducted those sessions in the 6 regional councils of the Global Alliance. So let me recap and give you at a glance the global PRN communication model. It is a project with an international steering committee led by Corporate Excellence, with the participation of Jose Manuel Velasco, the immediate past chair of the Global Alliance, Justin Green, our president, Dr. Amibel Sanchez, the Dean School of Communication Sciences, Tourism, and Psychology of the University San Martin de Porres in Peru, the participation of Dr. Woli Adamolekum from the El Zeid University in Nigeria, and Prita Kemal Ghani, the president of the Asian Public Relations Networks in Indonesia. The project is a 2-year project, qualitative and quantitative research, taking as its basis or starting point the Melbourne Mandate, which remains both relevant and aspirational, and the Global Capabilities Framework. But the world has been, in the last 10 years, in a period of continuous change, and that's why we needed to update this model to respond to the main challenges faced by organizations in what we may call the intangible economy. The main 4 challenges are basically, according to the results of the survey, 4. The first one is building and maintaining legitimacy and trust, our license to operate, increasing company reputation, and building a strong competitive brand positioning, which allows us to build a strong and long-lasting differentiation. And finally, creating strategic alignment amongst key stakeholders and building and strengthening our social and relationship capital with our stakeholders. In a context where, as you can see in the right-hand side, the value of intangibles according to the results last year, taking into account the Standard & Poor's 500 market value, 90% of the value is intangible. So this is why we need an urgent way of dealing and managing these intangibles in an excellent way. And that is the reason why we developed the PR and communication model.
The model. I wanted to say that the model that we are presenting is structured in 5 building blocks, and it's all these building blocks are key to generate and protect value in today's world. And we will explain them in a brief way right now. So the first building block is related to purpose. Purpose should be understood as the basis of the strategy and as a fundamental framework for guiding all the decisions and actions that you develop from the organization to guarantee integrity, coherence, and consistency. Then the second building block that we have is related to brand and culture. We understand brand as the platform of building relationship with our stakeholders, and culture is the way of activating purpose through all the behaviors of our employees. So this is why these two elements are integrated in this building block. Then the third building block is related to reputation and reputational risk. We need to know the perception of the organization and understand the expectations and demand of our stakeholders. And we need to integrate reputational risk to mitigate crisis and also to go further and identify trends and opportunities in the future. Then in the model, as the fourth building block, we have communication. And communication is in blue color. It's around the model, saying that it's a constitutive process that we need to bring alive all the capitals of the organization. So this is why we need to strengthen all the channels and platform and develop our corporate strategy narrative if we want to have an impact on stakeholder minds, because communication builds realities. And then the fifth building block is related to connected intelligence and developing a sophisticated and solid system of intangible asset metrics. We need to demonstrate the contribution of intangible asset and the impact on business value. So this is why it's another key building block in the model to answer the main challenges that modern organizations are facing, as Angel was mentioning. Following all this building block, we will have the opportunity to build long-lasting differentiation, trust, and social legitimacy to guarantee our license to operate. This is why we have these two elements in the model, but also doing that, we will have the opportunity to build advocacy, authentic advocacy on a bigger scale, because people will feel identified with our purpose. All the brand will be aligned with the purpose, and we will be connected with our stakeholders, monitoring this reputation and developing the metrics and connected intelligence. So they will be identified, and this is why they will make prescription in a positive way about the company and the organizations. And also we will be building a strong engagement and commitment. So this is why following these 5 building blocks, we will have the opportunity to helping our companies and organizations to face these major challenges and compete in the intangible and reputation economy, as Angel was saying at the beginning of this part of the session.
Let's start now with the core of this session. We have been presenting, as we said at the beginning, this model all around the world. And what we have got as a feedback is basically 5 topics and questions that we found the most relevant and the most common in all the presentations that we have conducted in the 6 regional councils. Let me start by the first one. Can this model be applied to any company and country?
Well, this is something that we have seen that participants worry most across the globe. And the answer is yes, it can be applied to any company, organization, and country. So it doesn't matter if you work on private sector or for a public organization, because the model has been built with the support and effort of more than 1,400 practitioners from 47 countries in 5 different regions. So it has been a global consensus research, taking into account the opinion of the Global Alliance network. And it's worth highlighting that we have conducted this research, also taking into account this international steering committee. So we had the opportunity to validate all the building blocks with experts, and also we develop a qualitative research, taking into account the most important models and tools in this field of knowledge and the Global Alliance previous takeaways and learning points. So we feel comfortable saying that this model can be applied to any company, to any organization, in any country. Of course, you will have to try to integrate it in your organization and try to adapt it to your business model and the realities and the situation that you have. But of course, this is a great standard and roadmap for being applied in your organization.
Thank you, Clara. Now let's go to the second question. What is the main discovery of the global PR and communication model?
What we have discovered, if we had to summarize it in one idea, it would be the significant impact and purpose on all dimensions of the model. And this is the main reason why it is in the middle of the model. And this is the first step or the first building block that we should embrace to start our roadmap on PR and communication travel or path. So what we have seen is like this idea. Purpose is a powerful tool for enhancing and aligning brand, culture, reputation, and communication. And as you can see in this chart, purpose have a key impact on all the dimensions, but not just purpose as an exercise of being defined inside of the organization. We have seen that the method that we use for activating and defining purpose is key. So it plays a key role also in the management of intangible assets. So the impact will be greater if we follow a participatory method. So it means that we should embrace a 360-degree strategy, taking into account the expectations and demand of our all stakeholders, if we want to create a strong and unique corporate purpose. And what we have seen is like most organizations have defined the purpose, but only half of them are working on the activation. So most of them, yes, have adapted the traditional concept of mission, vision, and values, or they followed traditional processes as top-down strategies, following cascading from top to down. And we have seen that if you want to strengthen the management of intangible assets, you should follow this idea of participating and taking into account the opinion of all your stakeholders. So this is one of the main findings or the key findings that we have discovered through the model.
Thank you, Clara. The next one. what are the key areas or management to drive the PR and communication role?
So, well, we know that the PR and communication role undertakes a broad range of functions as external communication, media relations, digital communication, internal communication, but however, what we have seen that the most important dimensions that determine the presence or absence in the C-suite are related to these two concepts: leadership in the corporate purpose and also the management of reputation, reputational risk, and corporate culture. So if we want to strengthen and know what are the key areas that drive this role, we could summarize it, taking into account that we should invest on corporate purpose and in these three elements: reputation, reputational risk, and corporate culture. So now I'm going to try to explain it with more data related to that. And regarding corporate purpose, what we have seen is like the probability of being in the C-suite will be higher if you define the purpose, but also if you follow a participatory method. So this idea is saying that the probability of participating in the decision process and drive the role are connected with the definition and activation of the purpose. So this is the first idea. And the second idea is this one: the dimensions or the management areas that we should embrace under the umbrella of the PR and communication role. And we have seen that if you work on reputation, reputational risk, and corporate culture, you will have the opportunity to strengthen your role inside of the organization.
Thank you, Clara. The next one. We have heard this question in every single one of the express sessions that we have carried out up until now. How can we convince a CEO of the strategic importance of the PR and communication role?
Well, as you were saying, Angel, and it has been discussed about all these sessions, and we are seeing that that it's something really important for the function. We need to promote our leadership role and strengthen our function. And if we analyze the model, we can find the answer, because the fifth building block explains us how to do that. The fifth building block is related to intangible asset metrics. And if we want to convince our chief executive officer of the strategic importance of the PR and communication role, we need to demonstrate our positive contribution on business value. So to further advance this mission, we need to create a solid and sophisticated measurement system for non-financial indicators that provide contextual intelligence and social listening capabilities to the function and to the organization as a whole. So what we are seeing is, like, of course, a organization needs financial indicators, but financial indicators show the solvency and profitability of an organization at any given time. But non-financial indicators or KPI as reputation, brand strength, commitment, the likelihood of client recommendations, all these intangible assets talk about how to create value in the future. So what we are seeing is, like, you need to develop and integrate intangible asset metrics inside of the organization, because doing that, you will have the opportunity to contribute to the decision process, mitigate reputational risk, design better engagement strategies, and also monitor and analyze stakeholders' perceptions. So I would say that following the model, the answer is this one: developing a solid and sophisticated intangible asset metric system inside of the organizations. Sorry, Angel, you are, yes. No.
Yes, thank you, Clara. The very last question is, once again, a question that has arisen in all the sessions, because it's a very practical one. How should I do myself, as a PR and communication professional, to start integrating this model in my organization?
Well, this is the main purpose of the PR and global communication model. We have this model, and this is not a research, this is not a report, this is a toolkit, a roadmap. And if you analyze the model, and you will have the opportunity to know how to integrate it in the daily activities of PR and communication function. So we are going to follow all the building blocks, these 5 building blocks, and the main task that we should embrace in each phase. So if we start to talk about building block 1, about defining, implementing, and activating a strong corporate purpose, what we should do is work on this idea in the definition and activation of purpose. And it means that you should lead the process and the selection of the methodology for defining the purpose. And we wanted to highlight that according to the model, and as we were saying, it's really important to select a good methodology, because it's play a key role on the management of all the other intangible assets. So it means that we should embrace and ensure that the model that we are following is a participatory process, more than focus on traditional process, top-down methodologies, without taking into account the opinion and demands and expectation of our stakeholders. Then we need to ensure that we are following the purpose. It is aligned with the business model. It is aligned with the behaviors and decisions that we make inside of the organization. So the main role of the PR and communication function in this phase should be trying to follow and to ensure that the organization is following the purpose and it's being true to the purpose. The second thing that we should do is working on brand and corporate culture in the second building block. And it means that we need to manage the corporate brand with an holistic perspective, taking into account that the corporate brand is the platform of building relationship with all our stakeholders. So it means that we need to design and implement experiences aligned with the purpose through all the touch points. And for doing that, we need to work on culture. And this is why internal alignment increases in importance, because we need to build or to activate the purpose from inside to outside, and then it will be reinforced outside in. So for doing that, we need to focus on corporate culture. And this is why we are seeing that if we do that, the role of PR and communication function will increase in importance also inside of the organization. Employees and employee engagement is the key element for strengthening our brand according to the model. So this is why we need to work on it, and it will something that we can do alone. We will have to develop a transversal strategy taking into account key areas of the organization. This is why we talk about this idea of cross-cutting process and building transversal committees and taking into account people or human resources areas, marketing areas, to really work on a comprehensive management system of our corporate brand. Then if we go on, we will have to work on reputation and reputational risk related to the third building block. And it means that we need to manage reputation. And when we talk about managing reputation, we have to know that we need to develop tools and metrics to evaluate our perception and to integrate the reputation indicator inside of the organization and see the connection between reputation and business impact. So it means that we need to integrate this metric inside of the balance scorecard. And we can manage reputation without taking into account risk, because reputation is a way of creating value in the long term, but it's also a way to protect value. So this is why we need to integrate the reputational risk inside of the enterprise risk management system and establishing plans for tracking and monitoring the risk to mitigate them, and also for identifying future opportunities for being more competitive. So this is what we should do in this second building block. So, well, there is a lot of things to do, and now we are going to start with tasks that we will do in the fourth building block related to communication. As we have highlighted, communication is a key element, because without communication, things doesn't exist. We need communication for building realities. So here in this phase, we will have to start designing our corporate narrative strategy. Then we will have to work on the idea of becoming a content generation platform. So this is a new role that we have to face, this idea of developing content to be spread in a big scale through social media, and all this content will be a key element for creating a relationship with our stakeholders. So then we will have to work on all the channels and platforms that we have for communicating our key messages and our communication framework. So this is the three key elements to work on this fourth building block. And then the last building block is related to metrics. We were highlighting these ideas when we were talking about how to convince a chief executive officer about the strategic importance of this function. And according to our roadmap, our model, we can see that this fifth building block is really challenging, but we have to do that if we want to demonstrate with figures and data our contribution to business value. So here what we have to do is measuring and report communication, taking into account the AMEC framework, the framework developed for the International Association for Evaluation of the Communication. Then we need to integrate a system for monitoring social trends and perception of our stakeholders. Then we will have to work on the development of KPIs or key non-financial indicators as reputation, brand, the strength of our brand, internal alignment. Then we will have to try to connect these metrics with business and trying to connect or to find the relationship between non-financial indicators and business impact. And then, of course, we will have to report. And for doing that, we would recommend to follow the integrated reporting framework. So doing that, we will have the opportunity to help our companies to face the main challenges that they have in this complex and new normal. And so following these fifth building blocks and the task that we have behind of them, we will have the opportunity to build long-lasting differentiation, trust and social legitimacy, authentic advocacy, and real engagement. And here we have the roadmap. It's all integrated in one slide. The step and the opportunities that we have as PR and communication professionals are here. We have the opportunity to demonstrate our value as a key function for the future of organization. And the main purpose of the model is to make it real, to integrate it in the daily activities of organization. And we have the path in front of us to start to work on it. Angel, please.
Thank you, Clara, for sharing the 5 key questions that we got from the 6 regional councils. Can the model be applied to any company and country? What is the main discovery of the global PR and communication model? What are the key areas for management to drive the role of the PR and communication role? How can we convince a CEO of the strategic importance of the PR and communication role? And what should I do to start integrating this model in my organization? It means putting the model into practice.
Yes, there is a long way to a long road in front of us to start to work on it. And of course, and if you want to know more, I wanted to highlight, just for finishing and concluding, Angel, that we have developed a lot of materials about how to integrate the model for helping you to further or to advance in this mission, in this idea of becoming excellence in the management of intangible assets. So you will have the opportunity to download the full report. It is available in English, but we are working in the translation into 10 languages. You will see that we have a executive summary to see the key elements in a brief way. There is a PPT with global results, a full video, the express video, like a executive summary, if you don't have enough time, but you will have the opportunity to see it in an express video. And also we have developed an article and a special webinar to connect the model with business ethic and explaining why ethic could be considered as the cornerstone of the PR and communication role. So all is available in this site. So you have the opportunity to make a photo here. Also, if you want to go there quickly. And also we will be here for explaining you, for explaining further information in this email. And happy to connect with you and to make it spread in a big scale.
Thank you, Clara. I hope that both Clara's explanations and my own little points about the PR and communication model is a contribution of value from corporate excellence to the Global Alliance Education and Training Month. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.